Hey team, welcome to your daily sadhana. This is Caiti. I use she, her pronouns, and welcome to your practice. Today we'll be using blocks and possibly a strap, and no need to have these specific things in your house. If you want to use some books or you want to use a belt or maybe even like a scarf, something that is just going to give you a little bit more space in your arms, as we're going to work a little bit on binding and a little bit on our hamstrings. If you want to, we'll be building towards a posture called Bird of Paradise. And there's a couple different ways that we can get into it together. So we'll just play around. The idea and intention of this practice is really to just kind of shake some of the dust off. As we get into cooler months, so we're filming this in December if you're watching it at any time. But as the weather starts to cool down and the year just starts to come to a close, I feel a little bit rusty at times, especially in my physical work, because I start to want to hibernate just a little bit more. And very natural, very normal. Nothing else blooms year round, so we can take our time. And using a practice that is a little bit more opening for the shoulders and for the hips and hamstrings helps me kind of feel like I just get like a full body reset, shake some of that dust off, and move forward. So place zero pressure on yourself for how you feel or what you want to feel, and just start to move around in your body and get a little bit more intuitive and get a little bit more playful. All right. We're gonna go ahead and just find a comfortable seat. My comfortable seat is typically on my shins with a block underneath my sits bones. You are very welcome to kind of be in that spot, or you're also very welcome to take a seat crisscrossed at the ankles, Sukhasana in Sanskrit. Have your strap or have your scarf nearby just in case you need it, and go ahead and just settle in. You can place your palms down onto your thighs and shadow your eyes closed. Especially for the moment, there's nothing to see and there's nothing to do. There's just a place to ground into, and that place is yourself. Notice how you feel now, regardless of what month it is, what the weather is like. Just notice how you feel. And give yourself time and space in each and every posture to understand what it's doing for you, if it's doing anything for you. And then make those decisions based on how you feel. Take a breath in through the nose. And an open mouth, exhale. One more, breathe in full all the way up. And then an exhale, just as full, breathe all the way out. Move into Ujjayi breathing in and out of the nose exclusively. And every time you breathe out of your nose, it'll feel like you're constricting muscles in the back of your throat. Start to build some heat, build some intensity from the inside out. And we kind of knock some of that dust off and remove a little bit of that rust truly from the inside out. Our energy has to come first, and our body will then follow. And take one more in through the nose. Then out of the nose. From your seat, interlace your fingertips behind you and then send your knuckles down towards the ground and your collarbones towards the sky. I'm gonna mirror you since you're looking towards the screen. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, take your left wrist towards your right waist crease. And then I want you to snuggle your right elbow away from you, away from the sight line if someone was in front of you. Take a breath in, lift your chest. And then as you exhale, drop your right ear to your right shoulder so that you're stretching through the left side. There's gonna be a lot more space between your left ear and your left shoulder. And you might make more space as you push your left shoulder even further down your spine. And take a breath in. And then take a breath out. Send your knuckles down and back behind you. Find your biggest back bend, chest up. And then exhale to the other side. So right wrist towards your left waist crease. And then snuggle your left arm out of sight. Lift the crown as you breathe in. And then drop left ear, left shoulder as you breathe out. Stretch more deeply through the right side as you pull your right shoulder away. Continue to sit tall, especially through the nape of your neck all the way down to your tailbone, the space that is still running upright. And breath in. And a breath out. One more on each side. Inhale, knuckles down behind you, chest lifts, back bend. And exhale, left wrist goes towards the right. And inhale to lift your crown. And then exhale, right ear, right shoulder. Inhale, find the back bend in the center, so knuckles down towards the ground, chest towards the sky. And then exhale, right wrist, left side. Lift the crown, and then left ear, left shoulder as you breathe out. Your back bend comes back towards the center. Push your palms down towards the earth. Breathe in, lift the chest. Exhale, gently release, and meet me in a tabletop position. As you find your tabletop, you can take this on blocks or not, and then start to move through cats and cows more intuitively. So for your cow pose, your belly button would fall towards the ground and collarbones and tailbone come up. And then exhale for cat pose is the opposite. So center of your spine towards the ceiling, collarbones towards your hip points, chin towards your chest. Begin to float through those two movements, linking your own breath to your own movement. Again, getting a little bit more in touch with this intuitive side of yourself, acknowledging what you need when you need it, rather than necessarily listening for cues each and every time. I have a plan for the rest of class, of course. But you are also always welcome and encouraged to ditch the plan that I have for one that you continue to create on your own. If you moved right and left, just go ahead and even yourself out. Eventually, we're going to meet in downward facing dog. So palms plant, toes tuck, and then hips lift. Start to move around once you get to your downward facing dog as well. So pedal your heels, push them towards the earth, knowing they never have to touch. And then keep your hips lifted and wrap your shoulders away from your ears. Take a steady breath in. And a steadier breath out. A look to the top of your space, and then take tiny steps and you'll meet at ragdoll. Separate your feet as wide as your mat, bend your knees as much as you can. And knowing that we're going to play around with our shoulders a little bit more today, you might interlace your fingers behind your hips and then let your knuckles fall towards the front of the room. Relax your head so that your neck has a little bit more space, and then you can still shimmy side to side, kind of shake your head yes and no. Give yourself room. And breathe in. Then breathe out, release your palms. We'll take a few half sun salutations, so step your feet a little bit closer together. They can touch if you want. Inhale, halfway lift. Place your hands to your shins or to your thighs, and then send the crown of your head forward as your hips come aligned over your heels. Breath in. And exhale to fold. Inhale for mountain pose or Urdhva Hastasana. Reach the fingertips up overhead. Stand tall. Exhale, pull your hands to your heart center for Anjali Mudra. Inhale, reach the hands up. Breath in. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Keep water in the knees as you hinge at your hips. 2 more. Halfway lift, create some space. And exhale, fold again. Push down your feet up with the hands. Urdhva Hastasana, reach. Hands to heart center, breathe out. Inhale, mountain pose, reach the hands tall. Exhale, forward fold, hinge down, melt forward. Last one, halfway lift. And then exhale to fold. Rise up and reach up, scoot the hands high. Hands to your heart center as you breathe out. Urdhva Hastasana as you reach up. And Uttanasana as you fold down. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. This time, step back, plant your palms, high plank position. Shift forward to your tiptoes and then lower all the way down to your bellies. Send your palms long by your sides this time, palms down, pinkies in. Untuck your toes and then move towards a locust pose or Shalabhasana. Lift the chest, the hands, and then option is to lift the feet. Snuggle the shoulder blades together like you could reach your fingertips towards your heels and stay for 3. Keep breathing strong for 2. And on 1, swan dive towards the ground, and then plant your palms under your shoulders. Tuck your toes, tabletop or plank, it's always your choice. Downward facing dog is where we'll meet, and we'll continue to add on. Reach your right leg high to the sky, 3-point. Stay here and bend your knee so you can find a solid hip opening for this first round. Push into your right hand for a little more support, and then curl your right heel towards your left glute to give a little stretch to the quads. 3-point on your inhale, level out your right hip. And exhale, step the right foot in between the palms. Settle your left knee down. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, or low crescent lunge. Reach the fingertips all the way up. Start to pull the left hip on top of the left knee, and you can untuck or tuck your back toes. That's completely up to you and how your knees feel. Take a breath in as you lift a little taller, and then exhale, plant the palms, forward fold, top of the mat. Step the left foot to meet the right. Inhale, mountain pose, roll your way up to stand, breath in. Hands to your heart center as you breathe out. Inhale, reach the hands overhead. And exhale, fold forward, just a little bit of forward and backward movement. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right leg back and set your right knee down. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. So we'll stay here just for a moment. We're on the other side. Sometimes the best thing I can do for myself to just get moving again is find something that builds momentum, something that feels a little familiar and is very repetitive. Take a breath in. Exhale, plant the palms, downward facing dog this time. Left foot meets the right. Shift forward to your high plank position, knees or toes. And then exhale, lower halfway, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale for upward facing dog, pull the heart forward. And then exhale, downward facing dog, lift the hips. We'll take a breath to movement as we move forward a couple more times. And remember, it's yours, not mine. Reach your left leg high, but spill your hip open for the first round. So try to kick towards your left glute and push into your left palm a lot. Melt your chest towards your right leg as your left knee lifts higher. Inhale, 3-point. And then exhale, step the left foot between the palms. Drop your right knee down, Anjaneyasana. Lift the heart, lift the chest. Exhale, plant the palms forward, fold, right foot meets left. Roll up, rise up, mountain pose, reach high. Hands to your heart center, breathe out. Reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Halfway lift. Left leg steps back, left knee sets down. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, low crescent. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. High plank, breathe in. Lower halfway, breathe out. Urdhva Mukha, breath in, upward facing. Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. One time each side, right leg lifts, 3-point. Step the right foot between the palms. Drop your left knee and reach your hands overhead, low crescent. Exhale, forward fold, left foot meets right. Urdhva Hastasana, roll up safely, hands overhead. And hands to heart center. Reach up, breathe in. Fold forward, breathe out. Halfway lift. Step your right leg back and your right knee sets down. Reach up for your lunge. Plant your palms for your downward facing dog. High plank, roll forward, and then lower halfway. Upward facing, breath in. Downward facing, breathe out. Inhale, reach your left leg high, last time. Exhale, step the left foot between your palms. Drop your right knee down, keep building momentum, reach up. And then step forward, push forward, right foot meets left. Plant the foot, reach the hands high. Inhale, mountain pose. Hands to your heart center. Keep breathing fully. Inhale, reach. And exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Left leg steps back, left knee sets down. Rise with your inhale. Breathe in. Downward facing dog on your exhale, right meets left. Roll forward, high plank. Lower down halfway. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take a breath in right where you are. And a breath out. Let's continue to build on. Take a look forward. And then travel top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward again. Rise up to the top, mountain pose. Reach up, inhale. Hands to your heart center. Reach up on the breath in. We continue to build. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, one familiar posture at a time. Exhale, step the left leg back, left knee sets down. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. And this time we'll take it to a twist. Open twist to the right. Reach your right fingertips back behind you and your left hand charges forward. Shoulder blades still snuggle together so that the heart continues to stay open. Inhale, exalted warrior. Right hand reaches for your back leg. Left hand reaches up. Again, options to further our goals for the day. You might half bind your back arm instead of reach for your back leg, starting to work that internal rotation in your shoulders that we'll need later. Tuck your back toes for me, please. Breathe in. Exhale, long stance pyramid. Straighten through your legs and shift your hips up. Now the long stance pyramid variation just simply means that you're high on your back toes so that our stance doesn't have to change. We'll eventually get to a pyramid pose, and so we'll have time, we'll have options, but for now, the goal is that front leg, so pull the left hip forward and the right hip back to make some room. Breathe in. And breathe out. Bend your right knee, please. Inhale, warrior three. You can keep the blocks or your fingertips onto something in front of you, or you might start to pull your hands away from the floor. Stay for the breath in. And for the breath out. Inhale for stork pose. Pull your left knee all the way up, hands overhead. And exhale, figure four. Left ankle crosses over the right thigh as you push your hips back, finding a tiny little chair behind you almost. Breathe in. And breathe out. Set your left foot down, stand up. Inhale, mountain pose. Hands to your heart center. We'll take it right to the other side. Inhale, reach the hands tall. And exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Your right leg steps back and your right knee sets down. Anjaneyasana, low crescent, reach the hands tall. And then exhale, open twist to the left. Start to squeeze through your inner thighs. Even though they're not gonna touch, that's gonna allow you to twist from the mid-belly and higher, the more mobile spots in your spine. And breath in. And stay for the breath out. And lean back, please, exalted warrior. Half bound or reaching for the back leg. And then think about your right fingertips just grazing your ceiling above you. Tuck your back toes for the next movement, breath in. Exhale, long stance pyramid. Plant your palms first, maybe onto blocks or books, and then lift your hips. Part of this kind of knocking the dust off, we don't have to do everything all at once. Sometimes our rusted patterns remove themselves just one piece at a time. Starts with a little movement. It starts with familiarity, and then things start to get a little bigger. Then we start to get a little more confidence, and then we start to move in grander patterns. But take your time, small steps to get there. And breathe in. And breathe out, bend your left knee. Inhale, warrior three. You can take your blocks with you, or you can leave them where they are, and then parallel your chest towards the floor and squeeze your right glute a lot to keep your heel lifted. Inhale for stork pose. Right knee sweeps up with you. Embrace any of those tiny little wobbles. And exhale, figure four. Right ankle crosses and push your hips back. The further you sit back, the more your left leg becomes a shelf for your right ankle. Breathe in. And breathe out. Stand tall for mountain pose. Right foot sets down, hands reach up. And exhale, hands to your heart center. Stay here for a breath in, and a breath out. And breath to movement we go, just a couple times. Reach the hands up, breathe in. Fold forward, breathe out. Halfway lift. Step your left leg back, left knee sets down. Nothing changes. Inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. Open arm twist to the right, breathe out. Inhale, exalted, lean back. Exhale, long stance pyramid, blocks or not. Inhale, warrior three, bend your right knee, pull your weight forward. Stay here as you breathe out. Inhale for stork pose, stand tall, pull your left knee in. Exhale, figure four, push your hips back and sink low. Inhale, mountain pose, put the left foot down, then reach up. Hands to heart center. Reach up, breathe in. Fold forward, breathe out. Continuous reflection, halfway lift. Right leg back, right knee down. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, twist to the left. Exalted warrior as you lean back. And exhale, long stance pyramid, plant your palms, then lift your hips. Inhale, warrior 3, pull yourself forward, right toes leave the ground. Stay here as you breathe out. Stork pose, right knee lifts with you. And figure 4, as it crosses, push the hips back. Inhale, mountain pose, plant the feet, reach the hands. Hands to your heart center, one more time on each side. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Left leg back, left knee sets down. We've got this. Inhale, rise up, reach up. An open arm twist to the right. Lean back, let it feel really good. Breath in. Long stance pyramid as you breathe out. Inhale, warrior 3. Stay here on your exhale. Stork pose, rise. And figure 4, breathe out. Stand tall, Urdhva Hastasana, hands rise overhead. Hands to your heart center, Anjali Mudra. Reach the arms up, last side. Fold forward, breathe out. I know you're doing great. Inhale, halfway lift, and then step your right leg back and your right knee sets down. Open up through your heart, lift your chest. Exhale, twist, open up through your spine. Inhale, find a back bend, exalted warrior. Exhale, long stance pyramid, hamstrings get the benefit. Warrior 3, as you glide forward, challenge your balance, and exhale to stay. Inhale, draw your right knee up. Exhale, open your right hip with the figure 4. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach the hands tall, breath in. Hands to your heart center as you breathe out. Reach the hands up overhead. And exhale, forward fold. This time, halfway lift. And exhale, step back, Chaturanga Dandasana, or step back to downward facing dog. Our Chaturangas aren't necessarily getting us any closer to our goal today, but they're always useful. A clearing, a cleansing, a period at the end of a sentence. Take a breath in here. And take a breath out. Reach your right leg high, please. 3-point. We'll take a new set of movements. Exhale, step your right foot in between your palms. Set your left heel down at about a 45-degree angle, so your left toes are pointing towards the upper left corner of your mat. We'll rise up for warrior 1. Now, as you lift your chest and lift your arms, it's almost as if we're in a crescent lunge, but rather than our back heel being lifted, our back heel seals down, and the left hip has to do a little bit more work to pull forward. Our goal for the day is a lot of hip opening, a little bit of hamstrings, and then of course the shoulders. So from here, take a breath in. And then as you exhale, bind your hands behind your hips. Inhale, push your knuckles down your back leg, lift your heart. Exhale, humble warrior. Drop your right shoulder onto the inside of your right thigh. Let your head be very heavy here. Look towards your back foot. And start to push into the pinky toe sides of both feet for a little bit more support and trust in your foundation. Breath in. And then exhale, release your bind. Come high up on your back toes. Inhale, revolved side angle. We'll twist to the right. So right hand reaches up after you level your hips and pull your left heel towards the ceiling. You are always welcome to drop your back knee. This is going to deepen the twist a little bit more. And if you're still looking for inner thigh engagement, just keep the back knee lifted. Steady on the breath in. As you exhale, Skandasana, come to the back of your mat at a high lateral lunge, or maybe you take it just a little bit lower. Hands can be on the floor for a little more support, or you can lift them for a slight balance challenge. But pull your right toes back towards your face and push your right heel into the ground. This is going to start to build some strength, especially while your right hamstring is fully extended. Breath in. Breath out. On your inhale, star pose, push through your left leg and then reach all the way up. And exhale, warrior 2. Point your right toes forward and your left toes towards the long edge of your mat. Reach your arms out and relax your shoulders. And ensure your shoulders are stacked on top of your hips, especially for now before we start to move forward. On your inhale, we'll half bind the back hand. So turn your thumb to face the floor and then snuggle it behind your low back. This is going to be the internal rotation of the shoulder that we need for our half and full binds. And then exhale, extended side angle, right forearm to right thigh, and then roll your left shoulder up and away. So our biggest challenge for the binds is keeping the chest open while we're reaching down and binding here. We'll have an opportunity for the full bind as we go through it the next time. So peel the heart open. That's the challenge on this round. And breathe out. Keep your half bind for me, please. Inhale, reverse warrior. Reach the right fingertips up and away. And then exhale, palm the mat. We'll find high plank to low plank. Or you might just skip it and take it to downward facing dog. Urdhva Mukha, upward facing. And then Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. I'll switch sides of the mat so I can still stay facing you, but stay exactly where you are. Reach your left leg high, 3-point. Exhale, step your left foot in between your palms. Seal your right heel down, toes facing the upper right corner of your mat, and then lift your chest. Relax your shoulders away from your ears, and the other important pieces of the posture, not only does the hip come forward, but the ribs knit in. Back bends are wonderful as long as we stay protected. Reach up on the inhale, and then exhale, bind the hands behind the hips. Inhale, lift your heart, lift your chest. And exhale, humble warrior. Drop the left shoulder down the side of your left thigh. Let your hands just kind of continue to melt over the back of your head. Your palms can be pressed together, or they don't have to be. Your shoulders are still opening, I promise. And breath in. And breath out, release your bind. Hand onto a block or the floor. Come high up on your right toes. Inhale, revolved side angle. Reach your left fingertips towards the sky. Start to pull your left hip back. So again, we're engaging the inner thigh so that the more mobile parts of our spine can actually do the twisting. Breathe in. Exhale, Skandasana towards the back of your mat. Bend into your right knee, and then lengthen your left leg long. Push your left heel into the ground as if you kind of make a little divot there into your mat. Breathe in. And breathe out. Star pose as you push up. Lift up, lengthen. Exhale, warrior two. Open out towards the front of your space. Shoulders relax and core knits in. And then push into the pinky toe sides of both feet to really start to engage through the outside edges of your legs. Inhale for the half bind, right thumb to the floor, and then snuggled behind your low back. And exhale, side angle, left forearm to left thigh, rather. Pull your right shoulder up and back behind you, so you can, almost like you're gazing over your right shoulder to look at something behind you. Breath in. And breath out. And inhale, sweep up, reverse warrior. Keep your half bind, left hand lifts. And exhale, palm the mat, high plank to low plank if you want it, or we meet in downward facing dog. The back bend that you choose on your inhale. Downward facing dog on the exhale. We'll take that breath to movement just one time, and we'll pause in that extended side angle, so have your strap nearby. Right leg lifts, 3-point. Exhale, step the right foot between your palms. Seal your back foot. Inhale, warrior one, rise up. Exhale, bind your hands. And inhale, lift the chest. And exhale for humble warrior. Release your bind. High on the left toes. Inhale, revolve side angle. Reach your right hand high. Exhale, Skandasana. Scoop up your strap as you take it to the back of your mat. Lateral lunge. Inhale, star pose. Stand up with your strap. Reach up overhead. And exhale, warrior two. Strap in your back hand. Inhale for your half bind. So left arm swings behind you, and then let the strap or the belt dangle down behind your right leg. Exhale, side angle, right hand reaches for the strap underneath you. So same, palm faces behind you to scoop up the strap. Naturally, your chest is gonna face the ground to start, and so then the goal here is to peel open. Snuggle your shoulder blades together behind you and push your right arm into your right leg to create more openness. You're doing it. Take a breath in. And then take a breath out. One more. We've got this. Breathe in. Then release the strap. Just let it fall to the ground. Inhale, reverse triangle this time. Straighten your right leg. Give it a reprieve. Exhale, palm the mat. High plank to low plank or downward facing dog. Upward facing, breathe in. Downward facing, breathe out. Sometimes you just have to be reminded that you can do very hard things. Reach your left leg high. Exhale, step the left foot in between your palms. Right heel seals down. Lift the chest, warrior one. Exhale, bind your hands behind your hips. Knuckles down, heart light, breath in. Exhale, humble warrior. Left shoulder drapes down. Release your bind, high on your right toes. Inhale, revolve, side angle, left arm up. Exhale, scoop up your strap, skandasana at the back of your mat, just so that you have it. Inhale, star pose, stand all the way up. And exhale, warrior two, strap in your backhand. Half bind through your back arm, and then let the strap fall behind your left leg. Exhale, extended side angle. Turn your left palm to face behind you to scoop up the strap underneath your leg, and then pull your heart up. Right shoulder tries to touch the wall that's behind you, and your left arm pushes into your left leg to peel the hips open. Steady, 2 breaths. Inhale. And then exhale. One more. We can do this. Breathe in. And breathe out. Release your strap. Reverse triangle, please. Reach your left fingertips up and away. Straighten your left leg. And then hands come to the ground. Chaturanga Dandasana, high plank to low plank, only if you want it. Upward facing, breathe in. And downward facing, breathe out. This round will stay very short, but we'll play around. So when you're ready, reach your right leg high to the sky. I'll come with you, 3-point. And exhale, step the right foot between your palms. And this time, seal the back heel. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. And then exhale, bind your hands behind your hips. We've done this before. This will be the only posture we do here, though. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, humble warrior. Drop your right shoulder on the inside of your right thigh. Gently stay for the breath in. And then stay for your breath out. Release your bind. And then from here, come high up on your back toes. I want you to step forward like you're coming into a ragdoll. I'll start to face you, and we'll stay with the right side. So from here, take your strap into your left hand. And then I want you to take a ragdoll twist to the left. So right hand stays down, left arm lifts up. Now, you'll half bind the left arm around you, and then let your strap again hang down your right leg. Right knee is bent a lot, so that you can relieve your weight from your right hand and then take the full bind around your right leg. Use your strap, and if you feel like your fingertips are close enough together, good, touch them, that's okay. And then pull your left foot underneath your left hip. Now we'll try this together, but bend into your left leg so that you can start to pull your right leg up in space. And then once you arrive standing, then it's that little bit of the hamstring work that we've been doing to straighten through your right leg and pull your chest up. We got this. Breathe in. And breathe out. Start to bend your right knee and then slowly come right back to where you started. Release your strap, release your bind. Whew. Roll up, shake it out. I don't know if I've ever held a bird of paradise that long, so thank God that was recorded. We'll try it again on the other side, and we'll get into it, and then we'll slowly come down to the ground. Give yourself a shake, a little bit of a movement around, and then we'll try it on the other side. No expectations, no judgments. We're just here to try it one more time. So from your downward facing dog, we'll start there. That humble warrior is really, really helpful just to get us really primed and ready. So plant your palms, step your feet back. Lift your left leg on the inhale. And then exhale, step the left foot between your palms. Warrior one as you rise up, seal your back heel, lift your chest. Exhale, bind your hands behind your hips. Inhale, push your knuckles towards the ground, lift your chest. Exhale, humble warrior, drop your left shoulder, let your hands melt over. Steady, breathe in. And breathe out. Now, on your inhale, release your bind. And then exhale, come high up on your right toes and step forward for that ragdoll shape. So now that we're moving to the left side, I want your left hand to stay down. And then reach your right arm high for your ragdoll twist. Bend your right knee, your left knee rather, as much as you can. And I'll show you without the strap this time. So with my right hand lifted, I'm gonna turn it so that my thumb is pointing towards my hips, pinky's pointing towards my head. And then snuggle that for a half bind behind my low back. Reaching for my left hip crease, then I'll bend my left knee a little more and then hook my left arm underneath my left leg. Fingertips are gonna kind of hug together as tightly as they can, and then right leg underneath the right hip. Push into your right heel, and then slowly start to stand with the strength of that leg, and then the lift and length of the left. And then option is to start to kick the left leg up and out as long as you can for 3, 2, and 1. Hopefully you lasted a little longer than I did. But either way, no big deal. Slowly roll your way up to stand, and then I want you just to shake some things out. So part of the removing the dust and removing some of that rusted feeling is just trying on something. Doing a little bit of familiar work, right? All the lunges, all the movements in the beginning, the sun A's, all that really good stuff, that's great. And it's all because we wanted to do something that let us feel good, things that felt familiar, kind of move around in a bunch of different ways. And then we just have to remind ourselves that we can try on hard things and we can do them. And then slowly but surely, that rust is gone. And step your feet together, please. Inhale, reach up, mountain pose. And exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. And then exhale, plant your palms, and then come down to a tabletop position. So from your tabletop position, I want you to send your left leg out long behind you. Again, I'll mirror you because I know you're looking straight forward. And then exhale, snuggle your left knee behind your right, and then open your feet out towards the sides of your mat. We're headed towards Gomukhasana. In the legs, anyway. Start to sink your hips back and down in between your heels. You can always use a block or a pillow underneath your hips to provide just a little bit of lift for your hips. So knees slightly stacked. If there's a lot of space between your knees, again, don't worry about it. Just put a block there or another pillow there, and that can be really helpful. And we've done a lot of heart opening, a lot of shoulder opening. So then what we're gonna do is take it to the opposite direction. So this time we're snuggling the knees in, right? And then this time we're gonna do the same thing with the shoulders. So eagle binds on the arms is gonna feel a little bit better. So reach your arms out side to side. And then I want you to take your right arm, since your right leg is on top, and snuggle it underneath your left. So eagle binds can look like grabbing opposite shoulder heads. It can look like interlacing all the way to the palms. It can also look like pushing your forearms together because all we're trying to do is just move in the opposite direction. Now you are very welcome to stay upright with your bind, or you're very welcome to start to fold. The folding forward, of course, is going to be a little bit more intense for the hips, and that's okay. So take what you need, take what you want. And then my other hope is that you start to acknowledge yourself for what you've done and what you've tried. And again, I know I'm teaching this from a very specific space in December between two of our largest holidays, but it is really nice just to take some movement, take some time for yourself, shake off just a little bit of whatever is holding us down. This is a very heavy time. It is when everything else goes to sleep, and yet we still feel very compelled to stay lifted, stay working, stay active. Every once in a while, that's so wonderful. A class like this, just to open ourselves up, move things around. But release the pressure to do this every single day. That, no matter what the season is exhausting. And slowly lift your chest, unravel your arms, and then I want you just to unravel your legs and then take those forward. I have a block underneath my sits bone, so I'm going to take that out from underneath me and then start to move your legs out towards the sides of the mat. Stay upright on your breath in, and then fold forward on your breath out. Just a moment for a counter posture in the inner thighs, a wide-legged forward fold. Giving yourself time to just really settle in, reflect. Let me just have one more side. Breathe in. Breathe out. Press your way up to a seat. And then, as gracefully as you can, we'll just move to a tabletop position. Now your right leg is going to kick back towards the back of the room. And then as you exhale, snuggle your right knee on top of your left, and then separate your feet out towards the sides. So this time your left leg should be on top of you. Now gently sit back, and you might sit in between your heels with a block or not, no worries. And then we'll move towards our eagle-bound arms. So reach the arms out, and then take your left arm underneath your right arm at any variation of the bind that you choose. No side has to be the same. We're just searching for the same sensation. And then you can stay upright, or of course you can also fold forward. And take time to breathe. Sometimes breathing clearly is all you need to quite literally almost clear the pipes and to move things through you and to move through things. This practice is here as just little tiny mirrors, reflections of how we're feeling, what we need, and when we need it. And we don't need high intensity every single day. And we don't need soft stretching every single day. Give yourself the opportunity to kind of roller coaster your way through your physical movements in the same way that sometimes it feels our emotions roller coaster themselves. We're all doing the best we can. And we're all making the best choices we can with the information that we have. Breathe in. And breathe out. And very slowly unravel your arms, unravel your legs, and then send them forward. We'll take one more seated forward fold. This time legs can press together. Get any of that good stuff right out from underneath your sits bones so that you can really feel your bones plant into the ground. Reach the fingertips up overhead. And then exhale, we'll fold forward. Relax the shoulders as they drape away from one another, the furthest away they've ever been, all class long. And then release the need to reach or strain or hold your feet and pull yourself further. You've done enough straining, enough striving. And steady breath in. And a steady breath out. Roll your spine all the way upright. And then take your time to roll yourself all the way down to your backs. You can bring your blocks with you. You can bring pillows, blankets, anything that you have at home that's going to feel really good. I want you to take it. And the knees come in towards your chest. Find a happy baby. Soles of the feet towards the ceiling. And then you might grab behind your knees, pulling your knees to the outside edges of your shoulders. And then you also might grab your ankles if you need a little more sensation. And if you feel like that's just not quite enough, grab the outside edges of your feet. Work your way up rather than working your way back down, especially in a time where we're just trying to get some movement in, just trying to lighten things up. It's a little bit more beneficial to start with something that is softer and then continue to increase the sensation rather than reaching for the hardest part, the hardest evolution, and then working our way back. Mentally and physically, that can get really taxing. And so give yourself an opportunity to just ease your way back in. And gather your knees back in towards your chest, and then send your left leg long. Let it fall onto the mat, and then pull your right knee towards your right shoulder. Slowly find a supine twist. Right knee comes across your mat, and so then your hips stack. Left hip underneath the right, and then maybe right arm reaches out towards the side. Keep your gaze towards the ceiling if it feels good, or maybe look down the length of your right arm. And soften the muscles around your belly. Soften the idea that you have to resist. You're stronger and more malleable than you think. And so when you soften your muscles, you're also softening your mind to the possibilities and to the opportunities that you are actually prepared. That you are constantly more flexible, more open, stronger than you might give yourself credit for. And bring yourself back to center. And then pull your knees back in. Give yourself a reset, mind and body. And let your right leg fall onto the mat. And pull your left knee back in towards your left shoulder. Find a supine twist as your left knee comes across your body and over towards the right. And then lengthen your left arm out long. You might look down that way, or you might look towards the ceiling. A lot of getting back into habits or kind of moving some of the rust off and dust around is really just about releasing the resistance to trying. And so even though it's been a while since we've done something, it doesn't mean we have to continue to not. It doesn't mean that we can also never go back. And so it just takes one time to rip the Band-Aid off, get back into that old routine, or get back into that movement. Feel good. Feel validated. And then continue to listen to your body, because that is actually the habit we're coming back to. Pull your knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around your shins. You can stay right here for just a little longer, making circles on the ceiling, and then eventually you'll melt out in towards Shavasana. And take up a lot of space. Space that you deserve, not space that you've earned. And acknowledge that the movement you just came back to and the habit that you just revisited was all mental to begin with. The feeling of, I can't, it's going to be too hard, or no, maybe I'll try tomorrow, or maybe I'll try something else. I haven't done this in a while. It's all self-criticism. It's all spaces of slight insecurity, and that's okay. I live there too. And so I want you to acknowledge that the Band-Aid you just ripped off was of your mind and not of your body. You are always capable. And we just have to begin to trust that more often. Know that we can revisit ourselves in this practice, no matter how long it's been. Stay here as long as you want. Ignore me for the rest of the video and be here. Or if you have somewhere to go and things you need to do. I understand. And if that's the case, begin to invite some movement in. Again, no inhibitions, no judgments, just feelings and intuition. And eventually, you'll roll over to your favorite side. And you might press up to a seat to complete your practice. And if you have room to stay in your Shavasana, please don't move for me or for any of us. Be exactly where you need to be. Guide your hands at your heart center and close your eyes one more time to acknowledge yourself, acknowledge your choices, and acknowledge the fact that you did it. And send your thumbs towards your third eye, the space between your brows. And the light in me sees and honors the light in each and every one of you. And we'll bow together towards ourselves and towards each other. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of the practice and being part of the Daily Sadhana team. I know I speak for everyone when I say that I really, really appreciate it. If you have thoughts, feelings, suggestions, I'm happy to take them on. But please give yourself a lot of grace, especially if you are watching this within the same season in the same month. Give yourself a lot of grace for taking time, taking space between each and individual practice, and knowing that you can always come back to it and you are far more prepared for it than you might give yourself credit for. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and until I see you again.